Hello, hello. How's it going? And sorry for the delay, we're finally getting started. So here we are. All right. So that's that. Let me see if I can bring that in here and move this away. Perfect. So welcome to another episode of the Build a SaaS app with Flask and Python. We're going to keep going and see what we do today. And what we're going to do is have a look at this, which was the very brief plan that we had made up at the beginning of the series. And what we've got right now in episode 3 is to add a schedule for each upload. So I think a schedule means including some information in the database about when a post should be uploaded, and then having some sort of background process that goes through the database, looks at things that are pending because they should have been uploaded already, and then it actually goes and uploads them. So this is something that we're gonna try. Give me a second. So the first thing in order to be able to process and upload is to save the Instagram information in the user's account. And in order to do that, we need to be able to let users sign in with Instagram so that they can give us their API. So it's been a couple of weeks since we've done anything here. So let me just recheck what we've got. In our user table, we've got the Facebook access token and the Instagram user ID. So this here is what we need to get in order to publish photos to Instagram, which is good. And here, this is the Instagram image table. This is going to be expanded, presumably, or I think it's going to be expanded in order to include the date that is going to get published. But what we need to first do is find out a mechanism to let users get a Facebook access token. So a sign in with Facebook type button that they will interact with. And that's what we kind of made here in the Facebook auth.py file. We've got the Facebook app ID and Facebook app secret. Then we redirected the user to the auth dialog with some permissions that we wanted to get from their account. And then when they clicked on confirm and they wanted to log in with Facebook for our account, they were sent back to here, where we then use the API to get an access token. So I think a couple of things we can do is we can refactor this. We can try to do this for other user accounts. In order to do that, though, we need to read through the documentation and see if there's any extra things that we need to set up. So let's get started. This is not what I wanted. That was surprisingly difficult to find. Yeah, so there we go. And what we're doing is we're doing a manual login. Which is there. So we've done all of this, which is good. Let's look at the apps that we've got. We've got 3 apps in here, so we need to find the appropriate app ID. Let me just find the app ID. 1201. And it's this one. Okay. So, yeah, I think here what this means is that only the creator of the app will be able to log in. And if you want any random person on the internet to be able to log in with your app, you need to get advanced access. And in order to get advanced access, you need to do something. So let's find out what that is. Yeah, standard access is granted automatically and permits access to data owned by your business. Advanced access allows access to data owned by people outside your business. So what I'm guessing that means with this very not so clear wording is that if we want somebody from outside the business, so not me, to access the app and log in with the app, which gives us their data, then we need to get advanced access. Let's see. Advanced. It's not in here. So let's see. And this really is the thing that you end up doing for most of the time when you're building any app, which is reading documentation and trying to find out what the hell is going on for most of the time. I will try to zoom in a bit. View, zoom. Yeah. Yeah, so if we want to deploy this and let anybody use it, we need advanced access. Okay. With that, then we need to find the 3 settings, or the 3 permissions that we were asking for, and probably get advanced access for them, I'm guessing. So that's Instagram basic, Instagram public content access. Oof, there's a lot of things here, that's for sure. I'm guessing we'll need this one. So for some of them we need to do the app review, and for others we don't need to do the app review, so that's good. But I don't think we're gonna do the app review, because that that requires me to set up a business. So for now it's just gonna be me then using this app, and maybe later on we will change this. Go. Then, since we're not doing that, is this too big? Since we're not going to do that, let's see what we do next. Possibly a good starting point for processing the uploads would be to do the scheduled uploads. So maybe we can start with that. So let's start with the data that we'll need to process an upload. Which I'm going to call something like publish date, and that's going to be a date time column, and nullable will be false, and this is the date on which the image should be published. Then we will need some sort of background process that will go through the Instagram image table, or the images table, find all the images whose published date has already passed, but they haven't been published yet, and publish them. So yeah, I think with those 2 data points that is sufficient for what we need. So now let's have a look at how we'll do the background process. I think for the background process we might be using Celery. So let's have a look at Celery. It's not something I've used before, so I hope you guys will forgive me if I don't really know what it's doing, but that's what we're doing here. We're going to learn about it. So maybe let's go through the first steps. So it seems we need some sort of a broker. We need to figure out what the broker is storing, because I wasn't thinking we would need a broker for what we want to do, but maybe the broker just stores the information about the function that we want it to run. It doesn't store information about each of the images that will be published. Okay, let's run through this then and see what happens. But first, let me see if we can get Celery on Heroku, since that's where we're going to be deploying this later on. In Heroku, they use Redis as a broker. Okay, so it says RabbitMQ is the best supported message broker. It should never be used as a result store, since it will drop results after being asked for them once. That's fine for us because we're not really going to ask it for any results. All we're going to do is rely on it to run the background process. So I think we can still use RabbitMQ. But let's see if there is a RabbitMQ add-on in Heroku. RabbitMQ as a service. Okay, that's good. That's good. There is a free tier for it as well, which is brilliant. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's install it then. We can install it with Brew, it seems. So let's do that. So now it seems really reaching the point where I'm in new territory here, so things are going to start to go a bit slower. Up until now, I knew a bit about Facebook APIs and interacting with APIs as a whole, data storage, but now I don't. So I'm also going to turn off the Wi-Fi. So if you guys have any questions or you want to chat about anything, just let me know. This is taking longer than I thought. That's okay. Let's read through this in the meantime. So we will need to install Celery. Let's add it to our requirements. And that's it installed. Now let's create a tasks.py file. So let's do that. So from celery, import celery, and then our app. And our broker is going to be exactly that, which is the RabbitMQ URL. We're still on local, but the idea is to put it on Heroku later on. The truth is, because we don't have the advanced access to the Facebook APIs, putting it on Heroku is pointless at this moment, since nobody except myself would be able to do the login with Facebook. So for now, we're going to keep it here and see if we can get it to run. Okay, so brew install RabbitMQ. I'm guessing this is how you do it. User local s bin. Yeah, they are very strict. Yeah. They're also kind of convoluted as well. There's a lot of steps to get anything. Like when we're getting the access, the Instagram user ID, it was like 4 requests to get that, which is a bit annoying. User local bin, user bin, user s bin. Okay, so it's saying that we should add this to our bash rc, not zshrc. There we go. That's so when we install RabbitMQ, we'll actually be able to find it. Brew services restart. I'm gonna take a note of this. I'm just launching my note-taking app on the side because I'm gonna forget this, and I don't really want to forget how to run the service or something like that. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just taking notes of exactly the output there. Okay, so I'm guessing RabbitMQ is running then, since it says that it's running as a service. So maybe if we grab this URL and go here, it'll go somewhere. No, it doesn't. Services. So that didn't work. But let's see if it's running in the background anyway. Celery, a tasks worker log level info connected. So it did connect, so that's good. Not 100% sure what that means, but so this is now running, I guess. So now I'm guessing we can call it from tasks import add delay 44, and I'm guessing when I type this something's gonna run in here. Yeah. Calling a task returns an async result instance, and it can be used to check the state of the task, wait for it to finish, or get its return value. Results are not enabled by default. In order to do remote procedure calls or keep track of task results in a database, you will need to configure Celery to use a result backend. And in case of our application, we don't need results. Although I guess it would be interesting to have results in order to, because so basically what I'm thinking is going to happen is here upload.py. This is going to go through this whole thing, well, not the whole thing, but a lot of this in order to create the Instagram media. So basically the background task is gonna do this, if I'm not mistaken. And so I guess it would be interesting to have results in order to be able to see the output of this, although we have logs, so maybe we don't need to. Yeah, let's forget about results for now. Maybe let's forget about the results. So there's a lot of configuration that we can do. Yeah, that's fine. And there's rate limiting and everything that you can do. So that's cool. Okay. Disabled backend. Don't know why it's disabled. Ah, yeah, because we don't have results. Cool, that's fine. That's okay. Okay, so we don't have results. We can't get the results back from our objects, but I'm guessing they are running. So let's verify if they're running by doing something like info hello world. So that didn't do what I was hoping it was gonna do. Let's see if it's a... No, it's not that. And we certainly want to do logging from celery task. We certainly do want logging from our tasks, since our upload has some logging. We want this logging to be visible. So let's figure out how we do logging from the task. If we can do logging from the task, then we don't really need a result. If we can't do logging from the task, then we do need a result. So. Okay, so we do have some logging functionality in here. That's good. The worker will automatically set up logging for you. So we don't need, or we don't want, our own logger. What we want is from celery utils log import gets task logger, and then we create it, and then we can just do logger info hello world. Okay, let's see if that works. That, I don't think it did anything. Okay, there we go. So that's there. Was it there before and did I miss it? No, I don't think it was there before. So that's interesting. So quite clearly, I think, when we run this celery command, this is taken in the tasks file. tasks.py. And because the logger didn't exist when we ran this file the first time, then I couldn't use it in here. I think that bit makes sense. So this function needs to be able to run when we start the worker. And if we modify the contents of the code, the worker won't see that as the worker won't see the code changes, so it will still be running the old function. So that makes sense, I think. So that's now working, which is good. It means we can put our logs in here. Let's take a look and see if we can do something to upload a photo, an Instagram image using Celery. That would be interesting. And so in upload.py, we've got this blueprint that we had to log into, and I can't remember if I had an account. Let me double check. But I will double check on the other screen. Pardon me. Pardon me again. I did have an account. So here we've got the /upload endpoint. So in this endpoint, we have an if statement and then a return render template. And so that's what we're serving right now, upload.html. When we submit the image, we get the uploaded file. Then we save it to the local folder with this, and then we save it to B2 Backblaze. Remove the file from the local disk, and then create the Instagram image row in the database, which keeps track of the data that we've got saved. And then once we've got that, we upload to Instagram. And we don't actually use this Instagram image row anywhere, but we're going to use it because we're going to store when the image should be published as well. So I'm going to start with going to upload.html here, and as well as a file, I'm gonna do an input of type datetime, and the name is gonna be publish date. So now we've got this datetime thing here, HTML datetime. I was kind of hoping that this would show a selector, some sort of selector. Input. Deprecated. Oh my god, we don't want to be using this. Datetime dash local. Okay. Let's use datetime dash local instead. Oh, there we have it. So this is what we wanted. Brilliant. So now we've got a date picker and a time picker. So we can select something like that. Now I'm interested in seeing what kind of data comes out the other end. So let me see. Documents. And there we have it. So just one of these should be fine. But I don't really want to upload this to Instagram. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to end up being uploaded. So let me get my phone out and delete it if it does. All right. So we've got that. We also want the publish date is request.form publish date. Photo will be published on publish date. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So we're getting this and we get a 400. That's fine. Probably because that's a PNG. Yeah, that's a PNG and we're only accepting JPEGs. So that's okay. I will turn it into a JPEG. Actually, we do have a test illustration here that I can use, so that's my bad. We can use that. Yeah, let's use that instead. Test. File save to local disk, and then okay, there we have our first error, which is happening because the table images has no column named published date, and it also doesn't have a column named published. So we've added 2 columns in here, so we need to add them to the table. So let's do that under images. So we've got these images in here. Let's now delete them. We're gonna then modify the database structure. No, not the database structure. We're gonna modify the table structure. Images, modify table. Save. Yeah, let's add here a publish date, right? Yeah, which is gonna be actually I'm not sure what this is gonna be. Cancel. Let's just delete everything. I'm not sure what kind of column this is gonna be. It's probably gonna be a string or something. So deleted, and let's let let the SQL Alchemy recreate that. Oh, and of course we haven't created this. So now that creates the database. Reveal this in the Finder. Take it over here and open that. There we go. So that is a datetime object. Look at that. Okay. So we've got those now created. We do need to register. So let's do that. After registering, we need to go through the Facebook auth protocol. but we need ngrok in order to do this. I don't know if you guys remember from the last video. So we need to grab this and go to our, oh my god, I'm blocked. Let's go in here and we need to add that into there. Slash login. It's slash login slash Facebook slash redirect. Yeah. Save these changes. Then here we'll go there. Login Facebook. Now this should work. Yay. So that's good. Okay, so we've got all that, which is fantastic. We can still remember how to run all of this, which is good. And we've got the Instagram user ID and everything, and that should all be saved on the database. Yeah, we do have the access token and the Instagram user ID, which is good. Good. Now we can go to slash upload. We can choose a file, which is this one, and a date, which is going to be here at 12 o'clock. Now I'm guessing this is actually going to end up on the Instagram. And there was an error. Aha. Okay, error happened, that's fine. So the error seems to have happened when we created the Instagram image. Here, Instagram image item, because we said that the publish date cannot be null, but we didn't pass a value, so we passed null by default, so you can't do that. So I crashed. So let's pass it in. Now the question is, when we're creating a model here, what kind of value does it need for the publish date? I don't imagine a string will work, so let's SQL Alchemy datetime. I'm guessing a datetime will work. Datetime, yeah. So it's just a datetime object. So the next thing we have to do is we have to create a datetime object from this string. The string being photo will be published on 2022-01-14 T1200. And so we need to turn this string into a datetime object. So let's do that. can use strp time. Which takes in the publish date and then a format. I think it's like that. But there's a nice website, strftime.org, that has a wee cheat sheet in here. So %d is for the day as a 0 padded decimal number, %m is the month, %y is the year, and then we've got h for the hour and m for the minutes. Brilliant. Yeah, so that's what we want. And then we pass in this to that. This is getting a bit confusing, so this clearly needs some refactoring soon. But I think that should do it. Other Celery tasks that we could create are for deleting stuff from Backblaze that doesn't have an associated item in our database. So we could go through all the Instagram image rows, look at the image URL, then go through Backblaze v2 and look at all the files in there, one by one, compare the URLs to the stuff in our database, and if any things in Backblaze don't have an appropriate row in our database, just delete them from Backblaze v2. That could be something that we could do. Also, after uploading to Instagram, we would want to delete the images from Backblaze as well. So there's a lot of things that start to pop up as improvements when you start making a product. But okay, so we've got that. Let's try again. So now it seems to be working, publishing, and it's published. So they should be on my account. And it is. So in case you guys were wondering, it's right there. Which is fantastic. Let's delete that. Delete it. So this stuff is still working, which is good. And now we have saved the publish date. Obviously, the photo didn't get published when we wanted it to get published, but that's what's coming next. So here in the tasks, we need to basically do all of this. Yeah, basically do all of that. There we go. So create the Instagram media, then publish it. But we do need a couple of things. We also need to know the user that is going to be publishing this. So maybe we can pass that in as an argument. Maybe we can try. Import requests, and we're gonna need the file URL, and that's it. That's all our errors gone. So that's gonna be interesting if this works. Instead of add, let's call it publish Instagram media then. Thank you very much. It does seem to be working. which is good. Now this is gonna delay the publishing until later. A couple of things to note though before doing any sort of delay is that the worker needs to be working. A bit redundant there, but yeah, the Celery worker needs to be online and it needs to be working. At the moment, we don't have it working. We've got the Flask app running on one side and we've got a Python interpreter running in the other. So if we were to try to submit this to the Celery worker, it would just say no. So that's something that we have to have running in the background. So let's do that. Here on the right, I'm going to run the Celery worker. And there we go. Wow, that was a lot more. Oh yeah, these are the debug logs. That's fine. That's fine. And it's found the tasks. Publish Instagram media. So that's good. When you set up the log level to debug, then clearly it has a lot more messages going on. But that's okay because we are debugging at this time. So we do want to have the debug messages. So now that that's running, in theory, if we have the current user and the file URL, we should be able to just import publish Instagram media and run the task with delay. So let's try that. So we no longer need requests in here, right? No. What we do need is from tasks import publish Instagram media, and then here at the bottom where we were doing everything, now we do publish Instagram media dot delay, and we pass in the current user and the file URL. And then we should see a bunch of logs popping up here in the Celery worker when that actually happens. So let's have a look at that. See if that works. Choose file, there we go. And it is gonna run immediately. So it doesn't really matter what we put in here. The object of type user is not JSON serializable, so that's where it kind of crashed. So when we pass in the current user, that's an object of type user, and it seems that Celery is trying to turn it into JSON, a string, so that it can be stored in RabbitMQ until the task runs. But it can't turn a Python object into a JSON string. So we need to learn a little bit, I think, about the serialization that Celery is doing. So let's have a wee look at that. Or maybe instead of passing the whole user, maybe even easier, we can just pass the Instagram user ID and the Facebook access token. So let's do that. There is some concern here about having the user ID and the access token first in the logs, secondly in RabbitMQ when it has to call the task. This is going to be like visible, public, well, not public data, but if you have access to RabbitMQ, the RabbitMQ server, you can find out people's Instagram user IDs and Facebook access tokens. That's not ideal, but that's a security concern that we will worry about later on. Let's restart the worker there so it can get the new task. Let's try this again. Of course, I forgot to modify this. There we go. That's what we want to do. Passing in the values separately, they're just strings. And there you have it. So that was rapid. That was very rapid. And the photo is yet again on Instagram. So that worked, which is brilliant. That is really good. That is very good indeed. Yeah, so you can see there's some debug messages in here about the post requests that it's making, and there are the logs from the task itself. We do need to make this into an F string. Okay. Brilliant. So that's really good. So we've got the celery tasks working, and we have ourselves the whole authentication side of things working as well. Now let's see how we can delay the task from running until the publish date is met. So there are two options really. In one, are there two options? I'm thinking what I said at the beginning of this video, that there was going to be a background process constantly scanning the database, and when the publish date was met, it was going to publish the photos. But now I'm thinking it may be much easier and more efficient to have the tasks delayed until the publish date, and at that point the tasks run. That sounds like a better approach. So let's see if we can do that. Yep, ETA tomorrow. So that's fantastic. It takes in a date and time. So that's brilliant. So that's add apply async. You pass in the arguments as a tuple, and then an ETA argument. So let's do that. Upload here, apply async. Then we're going to pass in the arguments here as a tuple, and then ETA is publish datetime. Rezat, yeah, if the worker fails, we would lose the data, but we are saving it in the database as well, the publish datetime. So we would still keep it, and when we're restarting workers, we should have something that re-adds the tasks. Also, you should have multiple workers working at the same time, and kind of that data will be split. Won't the user lose the opportunity to cancel the process? That's an interesting one. I guess there are two options for that. Either finding a way to cancel a celery task, which I'm sure can be done. Another option would be to have the task ask the database for the file URL. And if it's not there, then just fail. And if we do that, then we would have the database as this provider of the file URL. And if we delete the data from the database, then it just wouldn't get published. So I guess that would be another option. But yeah, those are some good points that we can look into. But let's see if this works, first of all. So that's restarted. I don't know if this is going to work. Primarily because of time zones and stuff like that. But at the moment we are on January 12th, it's 11:19. So let's go to 11:25, 22. Let's do 11:22. Upload. So now that's uploading. How's it done? The task is received. So this apply async returns an ID. That would be nice. Result, yeah, apply async. Let's have a look at the docs. Returns promise of future evaluation, async result. Which does have an ID there. So yeah, I guess we could do that. And let's have a look at the cancel. I don't know if there is a cancel method, but it seems like a good name. Revoking tasks. You can revoke it with that, or async result ID.revoke. So yeah, that seems pretty straightforward. We could do that. We could save the task ID in the database as well. So we could put this first and then add that data to the database. Yeah, revoke task. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is going to happen pretty soon. I hope. And it would be nice to... Oh, there we go. It wants a username and password, but I didn't set one, so... Oh, there we go. Anyway, that's worked. And it has uploaded, so that's fantastic. And there we have it. Third time. So it did work, which is fantastic. Let's delete that. Okay. I do wanna log into this. I don't know what the username and password are. RabbitMQ brew install username admin password. Guest and guest. Okay, that's good. Fantastic. Yeah, there we have it. Queued messages in the last minute. We had one here and now it's gone. All right. Let's do that again and see what we can see in here. So it's received a task, so I think in a few seconds we should see it pop up in here. Yep. And there we have it. Which is great. That's amazing. I'm going to take it to the other screen and see what else is there. I don't want to... No, there's no information in there. I think you can get the messages, but I'm not sure how you do it, to be fair. So there's nothing there. Nothing there that's interesting. But okay, so that'll be posted soon, I take it. Wow, I actually can't believe that worked so painlessly. I thought it was going to be more painful than that. But that does give us a few things to think about in terms of what's coming up next. So here we added a schedule for each upload, and we did this. So we've done episode 4 as well already, which is good. Like I said, I thought there was going to be some sort of background process there, but Celery can do it without a problem. So we'll do that. And there are a few more things that we do want to add, and that is canceling an upcoming upload, like we said. We want to do some refactoring and testing. We want to do have a nice UI, make a good looking UI for the app. Since at the moment the UI kind of sucks, so these are 3 things that we want to do. And after that would come the get advanced access and deploy. Right. Get advanced access and deploy it so that other people can use the app as well. Oh, there we go. It's now publishing. And that's published. So that's amazing. I just can't get past how cool that was. Okay. So that worked as well. So these are the 4 things that I think are coming up next. Obviously, there's a lot more that we could do, but I think this is good. You're right that canceling an upcoming upload is pretty important. Once we've got enough tests and we're happy that the uploading works for testing, we don't want to actually be uploading anything to Instagram and deleting it constantly. That's not a very good look. So we do want to do that. Some refactoring, some testing, some unit tests and whatnot of the code that we've got, and then improve the UI a bit as well, and see where we go from there. But I think we've been pretty successful today. We're gonna call it a day here, but yeah, I mean, Celery seems pretty cool, and everything is working better than I thought. So that's fantastic. Something else that we want to do actually is use Postgres instead of SQLite, and probably have some sort of cloud Postgres instance or something. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So any questions or comments or ideas at this point? Then I think I'm gonna call it a day. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think if you take it easy, you work through things step by step, things can be a bit easier than they seem. To be honest, this definitely seemed like overreaching. That's why I divided it into 2 episodes. But the tooling that we've got these days, things like Celery and Flask and Flask Security 2, etc., are just so incredible that you can do a lot of things that seem extraordinarily difficult in just a few lines of code, really. I mean, most of what we did today was this. That's really it. But you do need to read the documentation and understand it and all that before you get into it. So this really is the truth behind the saying that in a professional software company, a lot of the times software developers only write a handful of lines per day. Most of the time I spent reading and researching and understanding and trying to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. So yep, I'm glad that this helps. All right, well, if you got anything else, let me know via Discord. I'm always there, free to talk with anybody if you've got any issues or doubts or questions or anything like that. And we're going to call it here. In 2 weeks' time, we'll have the next episode where we are going to do maybe the revoking of tasks or maybe improving the UI a bit. I'm not sure. But we'll have a think about it, and then we'll make an event on the Discord server. So if you follow that, you'll see that popping up later on. Yep, thank you. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning into the stream and for keeping me some company while I learn about this stuff. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time then. Bye bye.